cynicism is gone.
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and welcome back to my 31 Days of Howling Reviews series. And today I'm going to be reviewing Cujo from 1983.
From the novel by Stephen King, creator of Carrie and The Shining, comes a chilling new tale. And it begins here.
Cujo? Cujo?
Cujo.
There's a new name for terror. Cujo. Directed by Louis Teague. Rated R. Starts Friday, August 12th. Please check newspapers for a theater near you.
Now before I get on with this review, I would like to say I did actually film this review already, but when I was working in terms of like recording my microphone audio and everything like that, like saving the project file so I could do that later, I accidentally clicked to save it on, because this video was like recorded in 2 parts, because I ran out of space on my camera. So yeah, and then I accidentally saved it on part 1 audio for, like, saved the part 2 audio on the part 1 audio. So I had to completely delete the audio files, and I had to completely delete the review videos. So yeah, it just was a nightmare, and I do so hope that this refilm of this review will be as good as the first time I did it, if not better. So let's just get right into this movie then. The plot of Cujo is that while Donna and Vic Trenton struggle to save their rocky marriage, their son, Ted, befriends the lovable 200-pound St. Bernard who belongs to their mechanic. What they don't realize is that a bat bite has transformed Cujo from a docile pup to a vicious killer. Also, before I get into the rest of this review, I would like to say that this is one Stephen King movie I've never seen before. I have never seen Cujo before. I've never even read the original book at all, so this is completely new to me. I've heard of Cujo before and everything like that. I've heard good things about it. It's just with me, I was kind of hesitant for a while because, again, Stephen King films for me, honestly, have been hit or miss. Sometimes misses are so bad that they're humorously, entertainingly bad to watch. Like, they're so fun to watch. Like films like Sleepwalkers and the Langolier miniseries, which are guilty pleasures of mine. But yeah, so, and then of course there's some really great Stephen King films like The Shawshank Redemption, love that movie. Misery is another one I really liked. So I didn't know where this, and then of course there's some films where people consider classics from Stephen King and that they love, that honestly I don't really didn't got what people liked about them and that. So, which I'll get to those when I get to those reviews. So I didn't know what I was going to get, what I was getting myself into with this movie, and I didn't know what to expect. So, and I tried to keep an open mind about it. And honestly, I do have some positives, so let's just get into them. I really did like the story, the characters, and the pacing of the film too, which all 3 of these go hand in hand with each other in this film. For one, the story. Actually, let's talk about the characters first, because if the characters aren't any good, then the story is not going to matter. Like, it's not going to matter whether or not the story is good or not. If you don't have characters that you like or relate to, that you would want to follow throughout the story, then the story's going to fail in itself. And I did like these characters, actually, especially the main characters with Donna and Vic. I really did like them. Donna being portrayed by Dee Wallace, which I've seen her before in other movies. I've seen her in that Howling, and I've seen her in E.T., and I thought she was really good in those two movies. Oh, she was also in Rob Zombie's Halloween, and I thought she did good for the most part, but she wasn't in that movie for too long for me to be able to determine 100%. I do like Dee Wallace as an actress, and I thought she did really good in this one too. I also liked the actor who played the husband, like her husband in this movie. Like, he had a likable personality in that, and you could understand the stresses he was going through and everything. In fact, I was actually invested in kind of the melodrama bit of their rocky marriage and everything like that. I was invested. I did, because I didn't want to see anything bad to happen to these characters. And let's talk about another character, and that's the title of the movie, Cujo. Saint Bernard who got bit by a bat and has become a vicious rabid killer. I thought they did that very well. They built up the threat of what Cujo would eventually become. Right away in the opening of you see Cujo getting bitten by the bat. Cujo doesn't do much throughout the film, but you start to see his progression into what he at the end of the movie. And I really did like that. And this is a very suspenseful movie, actually. There's times I was on the edge of my seat wondering, when is Cujo going to turn rabid and start to take down people? And yeah, knowing that too, there's not really any much jump scare. They're few and far between in this movie. It's mostly suspense, actually. Which I love that shit. And I think that works better than just having, like, let's say, tons of jump scares throughout the movie. Again, such movies like the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, but I'm not going to talk about that until I get my review in. Jump scares to me aren't scary, they're just flat out annoying. So, and I like the fact that this film doesn't really do that and understands what I've been saying to people. Also, speaking of Cujo, the makeup effects they did on Cujo is actually pretty good. Like, it's so disgusting in that, and in a not exploitative way or anything like that. It's meant to show the eventual, like, what has Cujo become. And it's such a disgusting makeup to the point where I didn't even feel like looking at it, and I felt like I wanted to throw up. Which again, I think was their intention on the makeup, the look of the makeup. Also, another positive I have here too is I actually really did like the music here. The music here is composed by Charles Bernstein, who, if you don't know, also composed the music to the original Nightmare on Elm Street, which that came out a year later. And honestly, for me, if I was the executives over at New Line or Wes Craven and I saw Cujo, you know, I would have probably picked Charles Bernstein to compose the music for Nightmare on Elm Street too, like, because, in fact, this is definitely a score that I would love to pick up on soundtrack CD, actually. Which I might try to find it at some point to get it. I could keep on going on and on about my positives with this movie. There's just so many good things about this movie that I'll be here forever. So let's just move on to my negatives, which, yeah, I do have a few. One of the negatives I have with this film is that some of the acting could be a bit cringeworthy. Again, for the most part, I thought everybody did well, including the child actor. I thought he did actually not that bad, but there's times where people like the child actor and like the actor played their son, and other characters, like other side characters, could give off some cringy performances. And another negative I had is I didn't like how they executed the ending. Now here's the thing, I did like the idea of how they did end the film. Like, I just didn't like how it was executed in terms of the editing, the directing, cinematography even, and that it just seemed so abrupt. I didn't like that, actually. I would have done the ending differently if I had directed Cujo. But honestly, that's it for my negatives. So with that said, I'm going to give Cujo from 1983 a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, for me, Cujo is a really good horror movie, and it's a really good Stephen King adaptation. I cared about the characters to the point where I was really invested in what was going on with them. I didn't want to see anything bad happen to them. I also really liked how they built up the threat of this rabid dog and everything. And even with that in mind, you do feel sorry for Cujo, because it's the rabies that are affecting his mind and everything. And he's basically a totally different dog at that point. He is no longer the dog you knew in the opening of this film. And I really did like how they built up the suspense and everything, even in terms of like using suspense for the kills and everything, like the death scenes. I liked how it wasn't a very gory film, you know, less is more. And just overall, I really dug this movie. In fact, this is one of those movies I hope Scream Factory gets a hold of and does a special collector's edition on Blu-ray, which if they do, I will pick this up. Because as far as I know, Scream Factory has not done a release of Cujo. If the people at Scream Factory are watching this video, please do a release of this movie. I would so pick it up if you guys do. So that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.